AJ Wilson. She is complaining.
Caitlin Clark is only popular because she's white.
The reason that Caitlin Clark was so popular was because she was white.
It's 100% about race, she said.
Aja Wilson just said Caitlin Clark's popularity is 100% about race.
Continues to make wild claims about race.
That's right. She claims Clark's fame comes from being white, not from talent. But here's the twist. Aja's own Nike shoe sold out instantly. So what's really going on here?
It's pretty clear the female athlete that just had a signature shoe released from Nike, what was supposed to be one of the faces of the league. And look, I don't want to act like Aja Wilson's not a beast on a basketball court.
If you support Caitlin Clark and everything she's done for women's basketball, comment 100% below to show her some love. Let's break this down.
Caitlin Clark's presence on the court is undeniable.
It's because her games are an actual event.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Aja Wilson, one of the WNBA's top stars, just reignited a firestorm by claiming that race is the reason Caitlin Clark is more popular than her. In a New York Times interview, Wilson didn't hold back. She said, and I quote, "It's 100% about race." She went on to say that no matter how hard black women work, they're swept underneath the rug.
Doesn't matter how hard I work. It doesn't matter what all we do as black women. We're still going to be swept underneath the rug.
And that people just don't want to see them as marketable.
Aja Wilson claiming that she was not marketable. She was being held down because of race.
Let that sink in. She didn't say partly about race, or maybe race plays a role. She said 100%, meaning she believes race is the only reason Caitlin Clark gets attention, endorsements, and fan support. And this isn't new. She said the same thing last year, again in May, suggesting that white players like Caitlin Clark are getting endorsement deals and media love only because of their skin color.
Whenever Caitlin Clark takes the floor, that maybe is different not only from any player in the WNBA, but from any player in basketball.
So here we are. 1 year later, and she's doubling down. And the timing, pretty convenient. Right after Clark's Nike signature, shoe sold out instantly, and her name continues to dominate the headlines. What's wild is that Aja Wilson isn't some overlooked player. She's a two-time MVP, WNBA champion.
Aja Wilson, apparently she's pretty good. Apparently she has won the MVP award in the WNBA.
Olympic gold medalist. And yes, she also has a deal with Nike. But instead of celebrating her success or welcoming the massive wave of new fans Caitlin Clark has brought into the league, she chooses to pull the race card. And that's what has so many fans and sports analysts shaking their heads. Is this really about race, or is it about resentment?
Aja Wilson's been in the league how long? She didn't even shake the needle. She didn't even slightly vibrate the needle.
Let's be clear. Marketability isn't about skin color. It's about likability, relatability, timing, and fan connection. And when you look at the numbers, Aja Wilson's 100% about race claim falls apart fast. Let's start with this. Aja Wilson has a deal with Nike, and her signature shoe sold out almost instantly.
Wilson has a deal with Nike. Her signature shoe sold out within minutes of hitting the market, especially because few WNBA players have big endorsement deals. The idea that American consumers won't buy products tied to black athletes, it's hard to believe it's a serious argument.
That doesn't sound like someone who's being swept under the rug, does it? If companies were truly avoiding black athletes, why would Nike invest in her at all? The truth is, Aja is marketable. She's a great player, she's got a strong resume, and she's got fans. But the reason Caitlin Clark is drawing more attention isn't race, it's impact. Let's talk Caitlin Clark for a second. She didn't just join the WNBA, she transformed it.
Caitlin Clark in the WNBA 100 out of 100 times, except maybe it won't. Why? Because Caitlin Clark plays basketball different than anybody else. Caitlin Clark plays it with flair. She plays it with panache.
Her preseason game in Iowa, not even a real season game, pulled 1.2 million viewers. That's more than the WNBA semifinals, which only drew about 850,000 viewers last year, and that involved Aja Wilson's team, the Las Vegas Aces. One preseason game from Clark got more eyes than one of the league's biggest matchups. That's not about race, that's about draw. That's about hype, storytelling, and audience connection. And yes, it's about a new generation of fans tuning in to watch someone they're excited about. But if we really want to talk about race and endorsements, we've got to bring the receipts. Let's talk Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan was still selling more tennis shoes than every current NBA player combined. Race has nothing to do with whether Aja Wilson is or is not marketable.
A black man who's earned over $4 billion in endorsements, with the Jordan brand still dominating the market decades after his retirement. Then there's LeBron James, who rakes in around $85 million a year in endorsements. Shaquille O'Neal is everywhere. Papa John's, Icy Hot, the General Insurance, and people love him. Serena Williams?
Serena Williams, I believe, is the highest earning female athlete of all time. Serena Williams, a black woman. She also happens to be the best at tennis, which people really care about. As a result, Serena Williams has made major bank.
One of the highest paid female athletes of all time. Tiger Woods made hundreds of millions in golf endorsements. And Naomi Osaka, who is Haitian and Japanese, earned over $50 million in a single year in sponsorships, despite not winning a major tournament in recent memory. So the idea that white athletes get endorsements and black athletes get left out, that's not just wrong. It's insulting to the hundreds of successful black athletes who have built global brands.
Serena Williams, a black woman. Is Naomi Osaka also a black woman? They make more money than any women's athletes in the world.
The truth is, companies don't care what color you are. They care if you can move product, bring attention, and connect with fans. And right now, Caitlin Clark is doing exactly that. In fact, Caitlin's appeal goes beyond basketball. She's relatable. She's passionate. She's exciting to watch. She hits logo threes and plays with fire.
Caitlin Clark that plays different. She plays like Steph Curry. She plays like Pistol Pete Maravich. She draws comparisons to the all-time greats.
She's become a cultural phenomenon, not because she's white, but because she has it. Aja Wilson may be dominant on the court, but when you step off the hardwood, star power isn't just about stats. It's about energy, storylines, and yes, how fans feel about you. And here's the uncomfortable truth for some players in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark has more fans. That's not racism, that's reality.
Caitlin Clark comes into the WNBA, goes through college. She has panache. She has style. Get over it. Get over yourself. Enjoy the ride, because make no mistake, it's Caitlin Clark's WNBA world, and Asia, baby, you're just a hanger-on to it.
The backlash to Aja Wilson's comments was immediate and intense. Fans, media personalities, and even sports insiders lit up social media, calling her out not just for the claim, but for the hypocrisy behind it. Because here's the thing, you can't simultaneously say, I'm not marketable because I'm black, while enjoying the benefits of a top-tier Nike deal, championship team placement, and consistent media coverage. And yet, that's exactly what Asia is doing, playing the victim from the top of the mountain.
She might be right. By making statements like this about racism, she destroys her marketability and appeal. Her innate racism and demand for victimhood are the cause of her downfall. Absolutely.
Let's not forget, Aja Wilson is one of the faces of the league. She's featured on magazine covers, in Nike ads, and across WNBA promotional materials. She plays for the Las Vegas Aces, the most dominant team in recent years. She's a two-time MVP and a champion. If she truly were being ignored because of her race, we wouldn't know her name. But we do, and we know it well. And this is where the real frustration kicks in for fans. Aja, instead of embracing the spotlight and welcoming the attention Caitlin Clark is bringing to everyone in the league, seems more focused on dividing the conversation. She's not just questioning the system, she's attacking the very player who's pulled the WNBA out of decades of low ratings and into mainstream sports headlines. Before Clark, the WNBA was a niche product. After Clark, sold-out arenas, record-breaking viewership.
That is a sold-out arena. 14,998 people. That's all it could hold. They all showed up in Caitlin Clark's college arena. A lot of this is flat about likability and people wanting to support their team. 850,000 views. All right. It was not the last preseason game, but the one in Iowa against the Brazil national team. Caitlin Clark got 1.2 million views on that game, a preseason game.
And a flood of new fans. That's not an opinion. That's data. But rather than celebrating this wave, some players, not just Aja, but others like Dejanai Carrington, seem obsessed with tearing Clark down. Why? Because they don't like how she looks? Because she's white? Because she's the new fan favorite? The irony is glaring. The same players who accuse others of racial bias are now doing exactly that. Targeting Caitlin Clark because she's white and successful. It's reverse discrimination disguised as social justice, and fans are catching on fast. It's also created a crisis of identity within the WNBA. What should be a celebration of growth, competition, and empowerment has instead become a battleground for resentment, victimhood, and political messaging. Let's be honest. The WNBA has long struggled with viewership and cultural relevance. They finally get a generational talent who can change that.
If Caitlin Clark gets hurt, this league's right back to 450,000 view ratings. Just that quick. I mean, the players do not understand there is a disconnect between this kind of rhetoric and this league losing money all these years. And it's also why Caitlin Clark gets so much hate, because they're watching a rise in popularity surrounding her, but they don't like the way she looks.
Someone who brings millions of eyeballs to every game. And instead of rallying around her, the league's veterans are tearing her down. And here's where it really backfires. The fans are watching. Casual viewers who were just starting to get into women's basketball are now seeing headlines filled with race-based drama, post-game beefs, and players acting more like activists than athletes. The result? A fractured image. Instead of being seen as a rising sport with exciting young talent, the WNBA is becoming known as a league consumed by infighting, bitterness, and identity politics. That's not a good look. Think about this. What's more damaging to the league, Caitlin Clark becoming wildly popular and bringing in millions of new fans,
embracing the person who has made people care more about women's basketball than anyone in the last generation, Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is the all-time leading scorer in women's college basketball, and unlike most of these clowns in the WNBA, has handled herself with grace and class.
or other players repeatedly slamming her in the press and claiming it's all about race. It's a no-brainer. Every time Aya or someone else makes these divisive comments, it hurts the league's credibility. It turns potential fans away. It tells people, you're not welcome here unless you look a certain way or believe a certain narrative. That's not equality, that's exclusion. And it's pushing the WNBA closer to a cliff it's barely avoided for years. The truth is, players like A'ja Wilson have every opportunity to be stars.
You've made a lot of money playing basketball. You've gotten fame playing basketball in a league where there is no money, if you had to sustain yourself. In a league where there is no fame, if you just went by all things being equal.
Many already are. But star power isn't just earned with points and rebounds. It's earned with attitude, humility, and connection. Caitlin Clark gets it. She signs autographs until her hands hurt. She engages with fans. She's passionate and emotional on the court. That's what people love. That's what sells jerseys and fills stadiums. And that's what her critics don't seem to understand. Instead of saying thank you to Caitlin Clark for growing their league,
she broke her own damn record, hitting 36-foot-long three-pointers. She looked it sensational. This team looked it great. And I'm telling you right now, they just put the entire...
I didn't plan to shoot that logo three. I know coming into the game, everybody wanted me to shoot one from there. But Steph was like, was supposed to come out at the end of the third. So she's like, give a foul, give a foul, give a foul. And then it was 30 seconds on the clock, which like between 30 to 33, that's like your 2-for-1 range where you have to get one up. So I saw 30 as we're inbounding the ball, which probably is inbounding the ball at 30, probably a little low. But I was like, why not?
They're saying, how dare you? And fans are watching it all unfold. So here's the bigger question. What kind of league does the WNBA want to be? Because right now, it's at a crossroads. It can either embrace growth, unity, and a new wave of fans, or it can sink deeper into resentment, jealousy, and division.
Race doesn't play into this. Even sexual preference, I don't think plays into this. Likability absolutely plays into this. A'ja Wilson's largely unlikable.
Players like Caitlin Clark are not the enemy. They're the spark the league has been praying for. For years, people said nobody watched the WNBA. Now millions are tuning in, and somehow that's a problem. If A'ja Wilson and others keep framing everything through the lens of race, it will only divide the fan base further. Instead of focusing on competition, we're talking about color. Instead of growing the sport together, we're watching it get torn apart from within. And at the center of it all is a false idea that being popular as a white athlete must mean you're taking something away from black athletes. That mindset is toxic, and it's wrong, because success isn't a pie. One person getting more doesn't mean someone else gets less.
There's only one team and one player in the league that draws all the ratings because regular sports fans are very aware of the identity politics that has come out of the mouth of these players over the years.
Caitlin Clark's rise doesn't erase A'ja Wilson's greatness. It amplifies it, if they just let it. If the league embraced this moment instead of attacking it, the WNBA could finally become what it's always wanted to be: mainstream, respected, and watched by millions. But to do that, they have to stop blaming, stop dividing, and start uniting behind what actually matters: the game. So now it's up to the players, the league, and the fans. Do we want this league to rise together?
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
Yeah, she's so good at basketball.
Because she's that awesome person and she has like a lot of aura, so like.
Or tear itself apart over jealousy and identity politics? The truth is simple. Caitlin Clark is changing the WNBA, and that's a good thing. But instead of being welcomed for bringing millions of new fans to the league, she's being targeted, disrespected, and blamed.
The media was trying to create a circus out of racial things, out of trying to make hatred come up, and Caitlin wouldn't let it happen.
For being white. That's not progress. That's petty. A'ja Wilson is a phenomenal athlete. No one is denying that. But when you make race the reason someone else is more popular, you're not fighting for fairness. You're fueling division. And if that mindset continues, the WNBA risks losing everything it's worked so hard to build. So now we turn it over to you, the fans. If you believe in fairness, if you support Caitlin Clark and the future of women's basketball, drop 100% in the comments right now. Let's show these players that fans care about talent, not color, about unity, not division. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more, and hit the bell so you never miss a breakdown of the stories they don't want you to talk about. We're just getting started.